10, Happy New Year. I hope you've had a lovely Christmas break and you're ready for starting mock exams next week. Unfortunately, we lost out on some time this week in history due to the bank holiday Monday and the staff day. So what I've done is I've created this video to teach you how to write the 18 marker for your exam. I know we've already gone over this in lesson before, but it's a reminder that's going to be really useful for you to use next week. Okay, let's get started. So, the daily learning target, I can analyse the components of an 18-mark question in order to write an effective answer. In this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about the 18-mark question, how to structure it, what a model answer looks like, and exam tips. Okay, so far in lessons, before Christmas, we looked at the source analysis question, worth 7 marks. We also looked at the source analysis and interpretation question, worth 15 marks. We looked at how you answer it and we gave you the advice of using PEEP, so peeping at sources, making a point, evidence, explain and purpose. Now, I'm not going to go over the source analysis question, the 7 marker or the 15 in this video. If you need a reminder, because you've slept since then, I am going to tag the 2 examiner videos into Google Classroom so you can watch them again and recap on how you answer the 7 and 15 marker. Unfortunately, the examiner has not done a video on the 18 marker, which is why I'm making this video for you today. So let's have a look. What will this 18 mark question look like on your exam paper? Now, I've taken this exact question from an existing exam paper, so this is what it will look like. And you get the choice of either question, so answer either question 3 or 4. Okay, don't forget, only answer one of the 2 questions, not both. Some students get confused by this in exam and they think they've got to answer both. You need to read the question, it says either. You don't have time to answer both and you won't get more marks if you try. So you need to choose one, choose the one that you feel most confident with and write your response. So today, as an example, I'm going to choose this one here to write a response for. So German occupation in the Second World War. That's the one I've chosen, I feel most confident with. Okay. So, how long do you have to answer this question? You only get 30 minutes really to complete the question. Obviously, your source analysis is around 10 minutes. This is a lot longer time, and the reason why it's a longer time is because it's worth more marks. So you need more time to include more historical evidence and write a longer piece of response. Okay, shall we have a go together? So as I said, I've chosen this question from the 2 options, which is German occupation in the Second World War was, in general, far harsher in Eastern Europe than in Western Europe. How far do you agree with this view? So in an 18 mark question, you will always be given a statement, okay? And you will have to write about how far you agree with what this person is saying. So this person is saying German occupation. An occupation we've learned in lesson means the action or state of being taken over by military force. So the Nazis taking over different areas by military force. In the Second World War, now examiners often do this to kind of try and trick you. We know what the Second World War is, we know what the dates are, they're 1938 to 1945. Was, in general, far harsher in Eastern Europe than Western Europe. Now this is tricky because you also need to know which country they're talking about. So Eastern Europe, we've learnt about Poland. Western Europe, we've learnt about the Netherlands. So this is saying the Nazis and the Germans, when they took over Poland, they were far harsher to the people than when they took over the Netherlands. How far do you agree with this view? So you need to decide, do you strongly agree that the treatment was far harsher? Do you agree to some extent? So you're kind of on the fence, yes, I agree, but I also disagree. Or do you strongly disagree? So you need to decide what your argument is going to be. That's the first point. Okay, so once you've decided that, So for me, I'm going to say that I strongly agree with this statement. I do think that the treatment in Poland was far harsher than the treatment in the Netherlands. So I'm going to write 3 points or paragraphs to explain why I think the treatment was far harsher in Poland. And then I'm going to present one paragraph where I present a balanced argument, and I talk about why the treatment was harsh in the Netherlands. You can't completely agree and write 4 points for. You have to have a balanced argument, okay? So here I'm going to write 3 points and 1 point to go against the argument. If you were agreeing to some extent, you may do 2 paragraphs in support of the statement, 2 paragraphs against the statement. If you're disagreeing, there's only going to be 1 paragraph in support and 3 paragraphs against. Okay, you must present, doesn't have to be balanced, sorry, you have to present both sides of the argument. Okay, so I strongly agree, so I'm going to create 3 points or paragraphs and 1 point against. So let's have a little look at how is the question graded? Where do you get your marks from and how can you get the most marks? So to get a level 2, 4 to 6 marks, you have to describe and identify some reasons. So that's quite basic. Okay, level 3, 3 to 9 marks, you need to have 1 paragraph, 1 point well explained, which links to the question, 7 to 9 marks. To get level 4, 10 to 12 marks, you need 2 points explained. Okay, that might be either 1 point for and 1 point against, or 2 points for. To get level 5, 13 to 15 marks, 3 explained points. So you might have 2 points agreeing and 1 point disagreeing. They need to be well explained to get 15 marks. Okay, and then to get the top marks, a level 6, which is what we're all aiming for, is 4 well explained points which keep linking back to the question. That's the key point there, linking back to the question. After every point you make, that is what you need to do. If your argument is clear, so while your writing is clear, your argument is clear and sustained. The word sustained means that you stick to your point from beginning to end and you don't change your viewpoint. Okay, it's not a very strong argument if you change your viewpoint halfway through. And then finally, to get 18 marks, you need to have a strong conclusion and a clinching argument. Now, when I show you the model answer in a second that a student has written, I will highlight to you why it is a clinching argument and how you write a clinching argument. Okay, I've included on here a bit more detail from the exam board of what you need to do to get each level. It's quite complicated, which is why I've simplified it for you. So 4 well-explained points to get top marks. Okay, so how do you structure your response? You need an introduction, point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, and a conclusion. Okay, your conclusion must match your introduction. So if you are saying you strongly agree at the beginning of your argument, you must say at the end of your argument that you strongly agree. That's what we call a sustained argument. Okay, so when we were looking at sources, we talked at peeping at sources. When you're doing a how far do you agree question, a great structure to use is point, evidence, explain, link, peel, which is why I've got this orange peel here to remind you. Now I know you do this in English, so some of you might be aware of this process anyway. So make your point, provide your evidence, provide historical facts and figures, explain what you've mentioned in detail, and then at the end of each paragraph, and you'll see I've put it in here, explain how the evidence supports or disagrees with the statement. You must link back to the question all the time. Keep going back. Therefore, this shows. Therefore, this proves my point because. Okay, at the end of each paragraph, you peel, point, evidence, explain, link back. Really crucial.